Hello everyone, welcome back to some more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, what happened last time? If I remember correctly, we made our way through the summation examination where we found that, sorry, I'm trying to remember everything. Where we found that, first off, there were two photos of Gina. There was this one and another one. And if we looked at them stereoscopically, the stuff in the back table over here looked a bit weird. That's because they were moved. That was the part that was shifted in the photo. So, as it turns out, it was these two clowns that moved it. So, we have to ask them to testify over again, and we're wondering now, what exactly do we do from here? Let's see now. The thing said to... I looked at a guide. Apparently we're supposed to do the crime scene photograph, which, I mean, I don't know why. Was holding a gun, so we should have just fired. Oh, I guess this is like to disprove that he was holding a gun in the first place. I mean, saying because it was like Gina had the gun? I don't know.
Objection!
Yeah, that sounds like it. So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Winterbank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? I say, Gov, you've got the picture. He has, now she has. No question. And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Winterbank was not holding a firearm of any description. Huh? You what? Gone Benet, that ain't right.
Objection!
There can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Winterbank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand. Yeah, that Maltula used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun. Kind of thing.
Hold it!
Stay exactly where you are, right there. Huh? If the crime had taken place as you so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out.
Goodness, are you sure, counsel?
You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where is the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? Oh, that makes sense. If we go to the autopsy report, the victim died from a bullet wound in the back. However, I'm sorry about the audio if it's bad. I'm trying to adjust my microphone, but yeah. If the victim died as they've shown us, then the bullet wound would be in the front when it wasn't.
Take that!
According to the testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot.
Indeed, with the two evidence happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe.
Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind. That's what it was. Okay. So, as I've stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. But it's the God's honest truth.
It is, Nash, it is.
He was shot last night. The shopkeeper had a gun in his hand. We saw it with our own bleeding eyes. Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windibank holding a gun? Something like that might have slipped out. Yeah? So you actually saw the whole incident? Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question, they actually saw, with their own eyes, the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite the testimony to the contrary, the Silken brothers must have encountered the victim in person. Nosh, Yeah? So they did see him. Okay. Well then, they must have seen Gina as well, by that logic. Huh.
Order! Order! Witnesses, explain yourselves at once.
Well, the thing is, we weren't supposed to, It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you.
Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies?
Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, we, cut it out, Nosh, cut it out. If you blob now, you know what it'll do to us. He? Who are they talking about? Let me make your position appear perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available to you. Bruv, come on, the game's up. But you'll have our guts for garters. In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out.
On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place.
Well...
Do we have to?
On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. Huh. Or... What was... Oh, sorry. Just something. Alright, so... We just got inside the car and needed a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his old mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he threw it like he was possessed. I thought we'd had it.
Poor old geezer. The bloke was strong as an ox.
He chucked me over the counter. I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room.
We never had nothing to do with killing him. I saw what happened, I swear.
So now you're telling us that moments before the... So now you're telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop? Yeah. Sorry.
Well... We found ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably.
But honest, Governor, this time, Nosh, this time, we ain't got nothing more to hide.
Very well. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. So if they encountered him, we have to see where Gina fits into all this, because she was there at the time, but we have to see if they saw her or not. When the geezer showed his mug.
Hold it!
Let's review every statement. When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and the proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windibank?
That's right.
We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously, but we never thought no one was going to come out of the back room like that. The back room being the pawnbrokery storeroom? Yeah, that must be where he popped up from. Only place he could have been.
So it would seem the victim was already in the storeroom when these brothers entered the premises.
Which means Ginny must have been in there at that point as well.
But that doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina had threatened Mr. Windibank into the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived?
Oh, I don't know.
Did you see the accused at that time?
What? That Maltula? Couldn't tell you.
No way, Cobber. We had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it. Okay, and he flew at us. Okay. Chucked me over the counter. Legged it through the door into the back room. What was that? You went through the back room door? What did you see? Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windibank? No, never. I was just, looking out from above, weren't I? It was being flattened, don't forget. By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes.
And then, the man who fled into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him.
Oh, the man fled into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away. And he ran through that door and shut himself in. There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true.
I wonder why Mr. Windibank ran into the storeroom.
Yeah, why did he run into the storeroom now that I think about it? What?
Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a gun.
Ah, yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windibank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windibank's hands again?
I have no idea, but that is strange, isn't it?
This little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it.
Look, the point is, me and my brother...
That's right, Nash, that's right.
Me and my brother...
We never had nothing to do with killing him. Huh. I don't know. Why would he go back if Gina was waiting for him with a gun? Unless he took the gun from Gina? I don't know. Okay. So, let's see here. Let's just look at this statement. You say you had nothing to do with it? Nothing at all.
Nothing, Gov, nothing. The old geezer went and shut himself in the back room, didn't he? Locked it was, from the inside.
We know it was. Could we try to open it?
But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong. Wouldn't budge an inch. So, in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could have possibly shot the victim, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade.
It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, Counsel?
I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could have possibly shot Mr. Windibank? I mean... Huh. I mean, it's not like there's no one else apart from Gina that... What was that? Okay, sorry about that. Just a knock on my door is all. Let's see here. I mean, if I say there could have been, it's like, we have to decide, but... I mean, I guess the Sculpin brothers could have easily shot him, right? I don't know. Huh. Okay. So the answer is there could have been, okay. Okay, whatever. That's the only option we have at this point. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Eh?
What? What's that look for?
From the moment you admitted that you had encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely.
It did?
What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. Windibank? And it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let's return to the plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be?
Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect to two conundrums.
Two, my lord? Twice as many chances to be right, maybe?
Indeed. Namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time?
Understood, my lord.
Are you alright, Bruno?
I'm not entirely sure, but there is one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions supposed by his leadership. Or his lordship. Well, I am messing that up. Wow. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where. Well, Before we can do that, I think we have to figure out where exactly the victim died, I guess. If he was shot in the back, then he would have had to have been running away, meaning he would have had to have been in the storeroom already, is what I'm thinking. Which would mean the person would have to be just outside the storeroom, I think? Because, listen, he got shot according to the autopsy report, he got shot in the back and died instantly. So wherever his body was where he would have been shot, meaning the victim was in the storeroom. But thanks to this border wall or whatever, thanks to the desk here, the shooter would have to go all around and shoot him from there. The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time? In the storeroom.
Take that!
The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Windibank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired?
So you were adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom?
Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony, he pulled his gun and he legged it into the back room. Okay. If Mr. Windibank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time. It was precisely at that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom.
Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial?
Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered his body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. And that fits one of the brothers.
Poor man. Shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety.
Ah, of course. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body on an upward trajectory. Oh.
So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Windibank.
Objection!
I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? Ah, but, what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there is someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Is that so?
Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside?
Well, that's easy. Gina. I mean, she had to have already been in the storeroom at the time because no one else saw her, so she would have been in the storeroom. And after Windibank was shot, she could have easily just locked the storeroom door and then fainted, you know?
Take that!
Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd! You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room? For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck.
I am inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel?
Ah, yes, that is a tricky one. Isn't it?
Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please.
But of course Jenny would have locked the door. That almost goes without saying, doesn't it?
It does?
Well, if I was Jenny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they?
Oh yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Mr. Lestrade and Mr. Windibank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point, Mr. Windibank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom.
Intruders, huh?
Sus, bruv. If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom hoping to escape danger, and was promptly shot. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windibank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment? I see where you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windibank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her own life.
Hold it!
But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't gov, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on. We never shoot no one. Didn't you shoot Sholmes? That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact you would, because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There is only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windibank's murder. Huh. What does this leave us? You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after all?
I should have known it was those three brothers.
Oh, wait, no, not him.
That was amazing, Bruno. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now.
Yeah, I wonder what Ben Zeeks is about to do. I know. First time ever. And probably the last.
Well, I think you've done it. Surely they'll have to give a verdict of not.
An admirable effort, my learned friend.
What's this now? He's laughing?
You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zeeks? I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive. I dare say, such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here.
What?
The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw.
A fatal flaw? Okay, hold up. That was the most dramatic way of saying, sorry, your argument is flawed. Like, you could have just said, objection, that argument is flawed, or something like that, or that argument has a flaw. This man went through the whole rigmarole of laughing and using big words and mocking him, essentially. Well, not mocking, but like, just to be like, your argument has a flaw. Like, oh my god. Sorry, that is just funny to me. A fatal flaw?
Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your own logic's failing?
I say, Lord Van Zeeks, might be an idea to explain this bally conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground,
The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. By George, count bullets.
Oh dear. He noticed then.
Huh? What's everyone talking about? Count bullets? Huh. Oh yeah, that's right! I didn't even realize that. We know that 3 shots were fired that night. The Skulkin brothers shot a gun. Yeah, the Skulkin brothers shot 1 gun. Okay, wait, yeah. 3 bullets were fired. There was the one Mr. Windibank's gun fired, the Shokin brothers' gun fired, and the one that hit Sholmes. There were 3 bullets fired, but only 2 guns, each of which having only a single round fired. Interesting.
Counsel.
Yes, sir?
Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime.
2. 2 bullets.
Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene.
Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar.
Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windibank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun.
Yes,
Indeed it does. A single bullet from each.
Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these two brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Yes, I did. Oh my goodness, I think you'll find...
And if the single bullet was fired from the brothers whose guns hit Mr. Sholmes, it means...
Winterbank not shot by same gun. Stop. Only one bullet. Stop. Exactly. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. Yeah, I never even thought about that.
Order! Order! Order!
Pray, forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hollow nectar into the public gallery.
Lord Van Zeeks!
But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond doubt in this print, which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present. That disc. Yeah, it's the one Gregson took. The one, what's it called? That guy was, Egbert Benedict was, thinging or whatever. The yard. Yeah, it was supposedly McGilded's. Yeah. Okay. Yes, that music box disc. McGilded's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Winterbank. The accused attempt to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence.
Good gracious!
Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets that fact at its peril.
I see. I think it will be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence, counsel. As a
Lord Van Zeeks, Inspector Gregson? What? Yes, Inspector.
We had a meeting yesterday at the Yard with the prosecution service, and, I think it was agreed that that disc wouldn't be used as evidence.
What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? Why did they say it wouldn't be used as evidence? Unless they knew it was McGilded, but they were trying to cover it up even after his death? Huh. Maybe. I don't know. That's the first time he said anything to Van Zeeks at all.
I am unaware of any such meeting. But those were the instructions, right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent.
Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determined how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. Oh, yo. He said he did not care what the big government bigwigs thought. He is presenting it because it is his case. Oh my god, okay. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord.
Indeed. Bailiff!
Alright. The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. Okay, no, actually, no, never mind. Let's look at the piece of evidence again, because I want to see if anything's changed. No, little spikes, which... Why even have these spikes? I guess...
Huh. Oh.
Oh, Runo, look! This is blood!
Wow. Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before.
Ha! Then it's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Runo.
Can we get this done quickly, Iris?
In a flash.
Okay. Green. Oh! Right. And we know it was Egbert Benedict. That color. What is it?
It's just...
Oh, it's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? Oh, okay. And we know for a fact that the blood on that the blood on the disc came from what's his name? Egbert Benedict. Which means the blood here came from Egbert Benedict. Yes. Interesting. Okay. I get it now. So he had to have been there. There is nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once, for all of 5 minutes.
Oh dear. It wasn't even for 5 minutes, Runo.
My lord, let me guess. Wonder if I might say something at this point.
Proceed, Mr. Foreman.
Been stumbling about in a bit of fog up to now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer's barely obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it. Oh no.
Very well. The court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Wait, her voice was more high-pitched? I thought it was more robotic. I thought it's a lot more high-pitched than I thought, okay. Huh.
We have a consensus among the jury, it seems.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Yeah? You're using one of Sholmes's lines?
That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. Ugh. How dare you use it against us?
Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. That's beyond any doubt.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, Are you and the other Joras ready?
Guard Squadron is primed and ready for action, sir.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty.
Alright. Why do I feel like we're going to do this one more time? Like after this? Oh, whatever. Anyways. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say that the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every way you look at it, it was that pickpocket.
I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see why I am in for a busy day ahead.
I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns.
Really? Okay. Well, we have a bullet. We have a bullet recovered. Sorry, we have a bullet in the wall. So, I mean,
It would seem that there is little remaining room for doubt.
have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I'd jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more. Ugh, the whole courtroom is turning against me.
It's not fair.
Iris?
That prosecutor's being mean.
Is he, though?
Just because Ginny's done something she shouldn't have in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer.
Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out. Eventually.
That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination.
Yes, my lord. Alright, we have enough time for that, so let's do part 2. Okay, so let's start off with the stuff that doesn't relate to the testimony whatsoever, because that's where we're going to find something. I've been interested in what's called Mr. Borshevik's testimonies, so...
Hold it!
I thought you were just a tourist.
Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
There's no way he's just a visiting tourist. So, you're a ballistics expert. Who knew?
I have much experience with guns.
Ah,
I have lived through many, how do you say, extreme, violent bath of, blood of,
Extreme violent bloodbaths, perhaps?
Those, extreme violent bloodbaths. English is very difficult tongue.
considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a tongue.
Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know. No mystery I cannot solve.
He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure.
But, if possible, please, only in Russian language.
He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he?
No. Still, we should bear it in mind. Okay, so if there's something to notice about guns, he's our man. More material. Yeah, no, same thing I was saying. We have to look for more material to turn this around. Let's look at the surgeon.
Hold it!
Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it has nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on...
What was the fellow's name now? Herlick? No. Herlock? No. Herlock?
Sherlock Sholmes by any chance?
Yes! Good lord! It was that Herlock fellow!
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right! Using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy. Yeah. Imagine being called on to... what's it called? For jury duty on a trial that involved the guy you just operated on.
Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They say he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his inside with a fine-tooth comb, and I couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to say the obvious, but
Yes.
surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting.
The counsel for the defense is correct. As is clearly shown in this photographic print. The bullet that
The Skolkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find this really quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally.
Who do you think I am, son?
Juror number 4 is about the best I can do.
As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake? Are you saying you checked his back?
Of course I did. And there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
The bullet didn't leave the body? So the bullet in the wall wasn't the one that hit Mr. Sholmes?
That's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I set about slicing him up. And I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much a mystery as how this jury was put together. Where the bullet ended up, well, we have an expert on guns and bullets.
Objection!
Let's see what he says. Those two statements contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other.
Oh, a ballistics expert?
Pitting. P-I-T-T. On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skolkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6.
Hello, my name is Villain. I am pleased to meet you.
This apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery?
I have seen a very similar situation in Motherland. It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along Mountain Road in the freezing cold.
Golly.
The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles, and they were on dog sleds.
Mental notes. Don't ask too many questions.
I was shot from behind, and I fell down in snow. And this situation was very similar to what I hear today from doctor. They could not find bullet in my body, and no sign of, exit wound.
Then, where did the bullet go?
Bullet never hit me.
Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down?
Bullet hit frozen a wall of ice very close to my side.
What?
One small piece, very sharp, broke away from a lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wound that looks just like bullet wound.
Good gracious!
Of course, pieces of ice quickly melted inside of me. And that is the solution to mystery of disappearing bullet.
But that doesn't answer the question at all.
Huh?
The shooting happened in a pawnbroker's shop, not some snowy mountain road in another country.
Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here.
Runo, where exactly was Hurley shot again?
Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think.
Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt.
A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that.
Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of the very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations.
Yeah? You have very dangerous glass vials of chemicals all together in a pouch?
Dude, it's much safer to have a utility belt with dedicated slots for those files. Like, seriously.
Don't just put them in a pouch with all your other stuff and expect them not to break, especially when you could just be running around at any time. My God.
What? Really? Doctor, where's the pouch that Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Huh? Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I can remember.
If I may,
Lord Van Zeeks?
while I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom.
Why?
As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Ah, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment.
Since then, it has been in my safekeeping along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred.
Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand that the prosecution present the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herlock Sholmes' pouch. I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it?
I wouldn't really call that a pouch. I'd call that a... I don't even know what I'd call that, because I don't even know how that would fit on your clothes. Like, seriously. The buckles are on the outside, right? So... Look at that! One of the files is broken, and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded.
Exploded?
So, that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
And it was the glass vial exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. A delightfully complex aroma.
Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least.
Though it has no bearing on the truth of the case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Thank you very much.
Glad I could help.
Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy.
I mean, it kinda is. Now, the summation examination will continue. Alter opinion? Oh, okay, yeah, so we do have a little more time. So, let's look at this new piece of evidence, shall we? Alright. What the? Why is there a bulge? Is the bullet still in there? So it hit there. Wait, hold up. Oh, snap! It's the third bullet! It's right there!
Oh, the strap is broken. Look,
This must be where the bullet hit then.
let me see.
There's the third bullet! It's right here! What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was. Do you see it?
That's the Skogan brothers' bullets.
What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is there were 3 bullets fired at Windybanks that night.
We found exactly what that juror was talking about. The third bullet.
Alright, let's press that juror again now that we have the third bullet. Alright, let's quickly go then. Who was talking about bullets now? Theft. Only 2 bullets were found at the scene. Do we have it in the court record? Yeah, we do. Oh wait, we can't.
Hold it!
Pitting them would be different. It's the number of bullets that have you convinced?
Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asks me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell them to count the table settings.
Well, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
Yes?
sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china.
Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position.
A third bullet somewhere on the scene? Could that be possible? I had it right here. Allow me to show you then. The third bullet.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Windybank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet?
It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
What?
This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes' waist before he was taken to hospital, and since then it has been touched by no one.
Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skogan brothers that night?
Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know that the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in this photographic print.
2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence.
Yes, that of Mr. Windybank and that belonged to the Skokin brothers.
And examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each.
But that must mean...
That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment.
Order! Order! Well, the summation examination remains incomplete. The court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination.
By Jupiter! What?
Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once.
Was that loud? That sounded loud to me. Oh well. Alright. So, I think this is a good place to end things off. The summation examination is halted because, not in this slot, here it is. The summation examination has been halted because the facts that we presented have created a new truth, namely that there was a 3rd bullet and thus a 3rd gun at the scene. So, we can't exactly continue with the summation examination knowing that fact. So, yeah. Next time on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, we are going to continue along and, well, I don't want to give away too much of what's going to happen next, so... I guess... I don't know. Whatever. Anyways. That's it for this time. I don't want to give too much, but yeah. We're going to be continuing on with this, and seeing what he has to ask the witnesses. So, yeah. With that being said, I will see you all next time.